Well, hello, it's Sunday night here. I've spent the day in church, went and had my choir went and had ran its first church service today in over 12 months. And it was lovely to be back for the first time. It was very special. We've got a lot to talk about. We've got flooding here in Australia, in New South Wales. It looks like it's heading into Queensland. I want to look at Myanmar. The events that are going on over in Myanmar. And, of course, we need to catch up with what our old friend Katie Joy is up to. And so we've got lots to get through, so let's get started. Oh. Where am I? Here I am. I'm back. I pressed the wrong button. Hello, Debbie. Hello, Dom. Hello, Hal froze over. Jean. Sarah loves donuts. Fernando. The Amber chick. Who else? Diamond Crystal Arts. Diamond Crystal Arts, everybody is safe. She lives in the area where it's flooding. She's safe. Have I got everybody? Hello. And Trace, she was in and out. So let's first of all have a look at what's going on. So I've just pulled up just so that all our friends overseas can see what's happening. I did get lost, Dom. I did get lost. Hey, I travel. It says updates are available. Refresh. So this is the ABC. Hello, Bo. So the ABC gives you up-to-date information. Evacuation orders at the moment. So parts of Western Sydney are being hit by a 1 in 50-year weather event. So the river is about to burst. They issued an evacuation order for western parts of Penrith, and they're telling everybody to be evacuated by 9 p.m. They've got evacuation orders for other areas. Residents around Lower Moonee Dam of West Gosford should also prepare to evacuate. So it's just flooding. So this is the flood. There was there was another flood in 1961. So they're going. That was the 1961 floods, and then they've stated that the Queensland is showing that parts of Gold Coast and southeast Queensland have just started to have intense rainfall as well. So Queensland are now on alert. So it was predicted that the storm would go to Queensland. So the ABC, as I said, has got everything here. Up. Not where most of this is happening, Dom. Look at this. This is how you make the most of it, eh? Look at that. This is what us Aussies do. we take advantage of a situation. If you can't, if it's gonna rain, you may as well make it fun, eh? Oh, look at the big mud. Look at the mud. That looks like fun, actually. And the other thing is that there are a whole pile of schools that are closed tomorrow. That's also been reported, and there's a page there. So that's happening in New South Wales. It does look like it's heaps of fun, doesn't it? You'd totally be for that? Yeah. It looks pretty cool. So that's in Newcastle. It does say photos of the day. So they reckon it's going to hit its peak at 9 p.m. tonight. So that's why everyone's got to be evacuated by tonight. Heroes. So there are 1,400 volunteers at the moment who are volunteering to help people get their houses sorted out. So that's what David Bowie is there for. They're called State Emergency Service Volunteers. If I've missed anyone, I'm sorry. Let's hear the news. I'm scared of water and great swimmer, but yeah. Yeah. So anyway, so that is what's happening. So we've just now got to keep our eye on Queensland. And the other thing is where I live, we've got rain as well at the moment. So it looks like there's going to be a few places, but we're not looking at flooding. Now, I don't know whether you get much news about what's happening in Myanmar, but you may know. Oh, long way away, Jean. Long way away. At least a 7 or 8 hour, 9 hour drive, 10-hour drive. You may know if you've that on February the 1st. Yeah, Victoria's supposed to be watching too. Victoria, where I live, in the state that I live, we're watching it closely too, because we've got rain for the next week as well. So everyone's on alert at the moment. They did predict that Victoria, New South Wales and Queensland could get flooding, but at the moment we're okay. So on the 1st of February, the military took over the running of the government. Now, I was in Myanmar 2 years ago, and what a lovely place it was with lovely people. We went and did a music workshop with a whole pile of young people from Myanmar. Oh, thank you. But yeah. So we went and did random music. We actually went and Diamond Crystal Arts lives near there. We did a music camp there 2 years ago, and it was so peaceful. Like, it was just lovely. Everybody was happy. And then on February the 1st, the military took over. And since there have been protests. They believe that 247 people have died since February the 1st. And they've all been protesters. So the military aren't allowing peaceful protests. So this is out of the ABC. So this is the latest one. So there were four more people killed in fresh clashes on Saturday. They had about 20 candlelit demonstrations were held in defiance of the military. And Indonesia's President Joko Widodo is asking for the end of the violence. Because the people don't want military rule. They've had military rule and they don't want it. Over 20 protests were held overnight across the country, from the main city of Yangon to small communities of Kachin State in the north and the southernmost town of Katharang, according to a social media part. Now, so Yangon is the capital. And I went to Yangon, and unfortunately there is a girls' home at Yangon, and where the girls that are orphaned get to go to school, and every girl that goes there ends up in university. Unfortunately, the military has attacked that place. Everyone is safe, but it really disappoints me that they are they are attacking innocent places and innocent people. The people of Myanmar want a government. They don't want the military to rule them. And so all the countries, so Australia is one country that's spoken out, Indonesia speaking out. Yeah. Oh, Sarah loves donuts. We are very connected. I'm very connected to the people of that country. Just this year, or before this all started, we actually raised some money to send some of the kids to university. So David Bowie is no longer here. So this is what's happening. They don't want the military to rule. So Singapore's also expressed disapproval. Australia's expressed disapproval. Everybody's coming out expressing disapproval, but there's nothing happening. But it looks like that the people aren't giving up. And if there's anything that we know about people is that they can be very, very stubborn. So all I will say, so this was their candlelight protest. And there's grenades and everything. So just keep the people of Myanmar in your thoughts and prayers. Yeah. They need some thoughts and prayers at the moment, and we just need them to realize that we need the military to realize that the people don't want that. I'm going to show you. Oh, I guess I probably shouldn't do this. I'm going to do something. Right. Hey, short order cook. Yeah. So, anyway, and there are like all the people from overseas that have been working over there have all been pulled out for their safety. Everyone's been out. We went to Yangon, and then we went to Calais, and we went on this tiny little plane, and like we were sorry. We were joking that the plane had to like be used, with a rubber band to start, but it was great. They've got lots of little, that they just live a simple life, and it's just a reminder of how you don't need much to be really, really happy. Yeah. Yeah, he did pass a few years ago. Hi, short order cook. Okay. Yes, I can pin the membership link. Just give me a moment. I will grab it. I should really do it before I start, but she does it every night, the neighbor. Sorry, I forgot that I was covered up. Just give me a moment. I'll be with you in a minute. Just talk amongst yourselves for a moment. I'll be with you. The rain. Well, the thing is, we either have lots of rain or we have none of it. We either have floods or we have fires. Like there's just nothing in between at the moment. Okay, I wanted to show you. I'm just trying to see if I can get it here. It's not working. I'm trying to airdrop it to my Mac. And it's my choir singing today. That's what I'm trying to do. Sent through a video. So I'm just trying to get it so it will airdrop so I can show you my choir if you're interested. There we go. I hope you've all had a really good day. I noticed that somebody was busy working today. I thought they didn't work on I didn't think that person worked on weekends and they had weekends off. Yes, Harrison. Yeah, Harrison's so he's working on some jokes at the moment. For the poem. Yes, Australia is a place of extremes, isn't it? I haven't seen this movie, so I have no idea what it's going to be like. So let's have a look. Here it is. Just over 12 months. Yes, I know. Well, it's Saturday there. But yes, she's supposed to have Saturday off as well. No, and she was drinking beer, not red wine. Not red wine. So this was today, okay? So that is my choir. Oh, I didn't show it, did I? Now, let me do it again. I'm so out of it at the moment. All right, here we go. Can you see that? I'll show you again. So there you go. That was the class. That's what we did today. And you can see we're actually standing apart from each other because we had to be, you can't stand next to each other because of COVID. So we were, we had to stand. So the thing is, when the further apart you stand, the harder it is to hear. So, and anyway, so that's what I was doing today. Did you half Rosario? Cool. Used to sing a choir. Yeah. We haven't heard about that. Well, it sounds like Australia is now like California. It does sound like that. Yeah, it does. Oh, really, Dominus? Yeah, well, that was a church. That was a church on the beach. So there's a really famous surfing spot in particularly Victoria called Bells Beach, and it's in an area called Torquay, and that was at the Torquay Salvation Army, and it's about an hour's drive from from my house, and it was there. Cool. So that's all I've got. That's the only one I've got. This looks like kids. All right. So I don't know if any of you saw her Instagram live, but essentially there was lots of Duggar tea. There was a couple of videos released today, but the Instagram live became a YouTube video because one of the people from Jed's fiance's side has reached out to her and now become one of her sources. And she was talking about that. I'm happy to play that for you, but there isn't, like, it was just a really bizarre day today. You were the church's first altar girl? Yeah, I haven't got any, like, there wasn't, I know that there was something else recorded, but they haven't sent that through yet. That's all that I've got. Actually, we only had 3. We had, I think, 4 rehearsals. And when he said, "Oh, we're going to do it without words," it's like, yeah, right. But we did it. Yeah, we're having. Yeah, it's not good. Definitely not good. Her confidential Duggar informant. Yes. Well, it's interesting because somebody has said, and I haven't watched it all yet. Just the wild weather, the fact that you can have bushfires and then other types of weather. That's all. That's the only reference. Just the extreme weather conditions. There's been a 6.9 earthquake off the coast of Japan, apparently, as well. So it's really the world has become very, very scary at the moment. Hi, Beth. Very, very scary. You know, I mean, for me, and the other thing is on International Women's Day, the Myanmar army singled out women and arrested only women on International Women's Day. So that was infuriating. That was infuriating for me. I mean, this is the stuff that our friend who has a large platform should be getting on and advocating for. And yeah, so it's really scary, and particularly when you know some of the young people that are actually protesting for their democracy, you know, makes you really, you know, you really want them to succeed. Because there's so many women oppressed overseas. I thought, oh wow, yeah, you would think so, wouldn't you? Yeah. And as I said, particularly when one of the children's homes has been targeted, you know, like it's wrong. All right, so here is, let's have a look at Twitter. There wasn't much on here. There was a whole thing about Dr. Phil again. So we're back on the Dr. Phil thing. She retweeted Dr. Phil sends kids camp where they face physical and SA. Dr. Phil's PR team, quick, we have to live tweet drag race. It becomes real. Real people are being hurt and we are not worried. And we are, yeah, exactly. Dr. Phil must be exposed. Keep using your voice. Dr. Phil. Or we have to go after Dr. Phil. What's these ones say? Well, maybe he felt he need not address her and she can do what 99 and do not go to proper authorities. Twitter patrons is not law enforcement. Wasn't it Dr. Phil who made her a star? Remember that episode? I would have thrown the bread off stage. Been talking for weeks. My issue is how Katie loves to call people out but never tags them. Did you have fun crashing Manda Pants live yesterday? Well, stalking Katie, poor you. If I get sent some more, I'll play you some more. But anyway, yeah. So then she's got here, a multimillionaire and you still can't spell. Proof that being smart is not a requirement of being rich. At this pace, though, you'll be declaring bankruptcy in a few years. Says she who often misspells. This is a Jed Duggar and Caitlyn Nakatsu's odd engagement video release. So she actually did videos today, which she doesn't normally do on a Saturday. And then she did an Instagram live. She did an Instagram live, and then she's put it on YouTube because obviously she's realized that people are interested, so she wants to make money from it. So there's that one. So that's her Instagram. I mean, that was her Twitter. This is Instagram. So we've got here. So it looks like she's going after this blended bunch people. So she's been doing some research into the family, so which I don't agree with, because from what I've worked out, both spouses have passed away, and it doesn't matter how long the spouse has passed away. I mean, I know somebody that's getting married 12 months after his wife died, and she actually was sick for a very long time, and she told him to find somebody else. Like that was her last wish. And so you just don't know what conversations people have had. So this one is this is a video about Dr. Phil. Oh, that's bad, Barbie. Yeah, we had to watch it online for a while. Did you see Paris? So this is Spencer Shamwell sat with his friend and author Jason Wright and discussed his late wife Amy's death less than a month after she died in a car accident. And she goes through and she talks about how she died. You know, which I don't think is really appropriate. Doesn't matter. Like, doesn't matter how somebody's wife dies. I guess is the question that I'm asking. Someone says it's very common for men to remarry quickly after losing a spouse. Everyone goes through grief differently. TLC found the family through the Foxwoods article. All of this seems weird, almost like they were looking for fame. How can you make that claim? KJ hates Dr. Phil because he referred guests to facilities. Yes, she does. So then she found on Facebook the late wife of the person. So now she's now the moral police because she says, found on Facebook, Spencer Shamwell's late wife Amy was 3 months pregnant when they got married. On the show, Spencer said they got married and had a baby 9 months later. According to LDS guidelines, people that have, outside of marriage can lose their membership from the church. So now she's talking about why. So Spencer is lying, probably to save face with the church. No one is shaming Amy. This was publicly shared on her public memorial by her mother. Like, why? Just because it's there doesn't mean you share it. Like... What do you reckon? Just because it's there? So I've heard similar stories from other schools which are deplorable. They leave scars. So sad. I think it is tacky, that Amber chick. I think it's very tacky. The woman's not here to defend herself. FL can get married to the person they're going to get married even they passed. Right. Yeah, you protect them at all costs. Don't understand why. Well, because he said that they had a baby, that they got married and they had a baby 9 months later. She's saying that he's lying to protect himself from the damnation of the church. But don't you think that they would have worked it out? Like, and then someone else says here, my grandparents are devout LDS. My dad was born 6 months after the wedding. They were both 17 when he was born, never excommunicated, all sealed. So, I don't know what the... So then she's got this deleted tweet that she's been sharing. That's okay, Jean. That's okay. Sometimes and I didn't put slow mode on tonight either, so it's quite slow. So here we go. This is him again. The blended bunch, Spencer Shamwell and his friend did a 2-week hike on John Muir Trail. Interesting, Erica started the hike with him, but on the second day, all the women left. By the end of the 2 weeks, only Spencer, one of his friends, finished. A source tipped me off about a YouTube page that documented their trip. This means Erica would have been left home alone with the 11 kids on her own. And Spencer, being the sole provider, was not working during this time. Thoughts? Someone said he could have used his vacation days. So, looks like this is another family she's looking at going after by the looks of it. Maybe they had a babysitter. Maybe they had somebody helping. So still nothing from the Duggar family. This is TLC. That's right. They both lost their spouses, Nana Hawk. For someone whose husband doesn't have a job, she sounds mighty hypocritical, calling another family out for the same. Yes, I know. But the other thing is, he may have had holidays. Sounds like she's jealous. Yeah. So, yes, it's a TLC show called Blended Families. I think Sarah loves donuts. It's very good in the video that we watched. If you watch all the way through, it really makes good sense. Yes, it does look like you're right. Yeah, like and share. So this is still nothing from the Duggar family, but the Nakatsu family just released this video and Jed Duggar's engagement to Caitlyn Nakatsu. Each their own, but with these vows, I feel like I'm kind of invading their privacy. And then she says they published this. Like she's. The other thing is, on her Insta Live, she talks about how she's researched the family. It's really quite freaky what she does. Well, that's right, Michelle. They were married within 6 weeks of meeting each other. KJ won't let Todd work. She likes controlling him. I think so. Thank you for becoming a member. Short order cook 1. Yay, another one. Also, for someone who supposedly have no beliefs as far as religion, she should keep those opinions to herself. Oh, I don't blame you, that Amber chick. Seriously, it is like that, isn't it? So now here we go. Jed Duggar's fiance, Caitlyn Nakatsu, has a pretty interesting background. Her father wrote on his blog. Yes, she's found his blog about his grandmother, and I was able to find a film he made for her life. And so now she's going through the history. Corey Nakatsu, Katie's dad, is son of Frank Izo and Elsie Nakatsu. Corey's father was full Japanese. Cannot believe she wrote that. His parents, Coco and Tommy Nakatsu, were both immigrants from Japan. Full Japanese? According to census reports, had 9 children. Their marriage was arranged by their family in Japan, and Tommy actually married him in Japan without Coco present. She was able to come to the US as an immigrant wife. They established themselves in Arizona, opened a market. According to the film made by Katie's dad, Tommy was the matriarch of the family. Corey's dad, Frank, Japanese name, Isaho, married a woman called Elsie Smith. They had 2 children, Corey and his sister. Corey's parents at some point divorced. Based upon his blog, he remained close with his father and grandmother. They owned the Nakatsu Ranch market. Corey married her mother, Kimberly. They had Katie and her sister, Corey. Corey is half Japanese, making Katie a quarter Japanese. I want to just say, since when you've been asking about her last name, Nakatsu is a Japanese last name. So, yes, Katie's great-grandparents are from Japan. We've got to admit that KJ's laugh was kind of entertaining at times. Yes, and also embarrassing. Her lack of social skills, says Dom. Yes, I think that's a really good point. So here we go. We've got this, and here is a photo of Caitlyn Nakatsu's great-grandparents. Tommy is in the white hat. Right below is Frank Nakatsu, her grandmother. Tommy and Kogo converted from Buddhism to Methodist due to Japanese immigrant who was a reverend. They attended her church with other Japanese immigrants in Mesa, Arizona. Corey Nakatsu's film on their family is quite interesting. Be back with more in a bit. Looks like she's... A person I know for 30 years who was a bachelor who dedicated his life to his church, recently married a woman 1 month after proposal. They now care for her 3 foster babies happily. This defamate this. Well, the thing is, you can know people for a long time and get married and not be suited, and then, you know somebody for a short time, be married forever. You just don't know. So now she's back onto the Duggars. Jim Bob Duggar apparently bought this theatre in Branson last year as a tax write-off. He's going to sell it in a few years. He allegedly likes to buy properties to write off. Good luck to him. Right now, the theatre is showing videos on history and gospel music performances. Okay, so here's the answer. So much Duggar tea. It's a little bit boring. Someone says, best tea. Thank you for sharing.
There's been a lot of questions, so I'm going to just jump on a live really quick. I did not take a shower today. I don't have any makeup on. This is me being real life.
Jim Duggar is a property developer. What does she think he would be doing with the properties? Well, that's right. What else would he be doing with the properties? I think the real point is there's no real wrong time to remarry after a spouse passes. It may seem wrong to a lot of people, but the truth. Yes, that's right. So as I said, there's somebody that I know that's getting married. It'll be about 12 months since his wife died, and it was actually a friend of theirs, a mutual friend of theirs, and she was there for him to deal with the grieving, and they fell in love. It's a lovely story, and they're getting married in May. Very, and whoever says this was the best tea either has to be a troll or completely delusional. I don't see how people are fooled by her anymore by this point. LDS Bootsy, depending on the circumstances. Okay. So, yeah. Hey, Laura. See people sneaking. All right. It does happen a lot, particularly when you're in a moment of need and somebody's there for you. And yeah, I think. I mean, I can't judge whether it's the right thing for them because I don't know them. How can I say anything about it? And if they're happy, they're happy.
So if you guys, I did a mask today, so my face is a little bit red, but I was like, you know what, let's just go real life. We don't always have to have our makeup on. We don't always have to have our filters on. We can just be real life. So I posted a few things.
That's the other thing that Amber Chick is that there are people that do need somebody else in their life. The other thing is, if her face is going red due to the masks, I would say that the masks aren't suited for her face type because they shouldn't burn. My understanding is they shouldn't burn or leave any type of redness. But I'll check with my dermal science daughter. That she wears wigs, says Dominus. He's a yummy machine at the moment. I know, Fernanda. Yeah, well, that's interesting, isn't it, Dom? So I don't know how many people have seen this because I know that a few people have shown it. So but it goes for 58 minutes. So I love that. You said that to your husband too, yeah.
Earlier this afternoon, or just a little bit ago, about the Jed and Katie situation. And I wanted to just come on here and clarify. I already noticed that Reddit was talking about it. And I think Reddit is starting to realize that I'm not making this kind of stuff up because I don't feel like you should make these kinds of things up. Like, you probably shouldn't start rumors. You should probably have sources that know people and can verify things. So,
that's funny, verifying things. It's quite interesting. Very interesting, isn't it? But I think that if she's got redness, there is something that's not agreed with her in the skin mask. From my understanding, there should be no redness. So I'd say she needs to look at the ingredients. There's something in one of them that's not reacted. So, Katie, if you're watching this, if you'd like to DM me, I can get my daughter to give you a skin consultation over Zoom because that's what she's studying to do. It makes no sense to me except somebody not move on. I mean, whether they do or not, it's their choice. And and if they move on quickly or slowly, it's their choice.
Obviously, because of my coverage, I get people that are circling around the Duggars, that are friends of the Duggars, that are connected to the Duggars, that are family, loose family, that are, and then when a new person comes in, whether it's, a man or a woman, oftentimes family members of the partner will come forward, friends, family, whatever. So today, I saw the video about Jed, right? And I was like, this is weird. This ceremony seems really weird. The engagement felt different. It felt like they were.
No, that's fine. Fernando, you just take your time. No, there's no pressure. If something tells me you'd know if she was here. She has been that amber chick. She has been. She would be very bold. Hey, Crescendo. She sounds like a sign. Well, she probably will watch this one back. So I'm just putting it out there, that amber chick. She's blocked me, so I can't reach out to her. It's funny that
walking into something that was very formal. It felt like they knew what was about to happen. It didn't seem like there was like some sort of surprise, like I'm getting down on one knee, and there was this like utter lack of emotion by both of them. Like, it didn't seem like they did this like awkward side hug, and it just felt really bizarre. Like, even with like, I can think of like the girls, like with Derek and Jill, there was a lot more emotion. With Jessa and Ben, there's a lot more emotion. Ginger and Jeremy, obviously, we know how Ginger felt about Jeremy. So when I saw how like clinical it was, I was like, they're so weird. It felt staged. It felt
She's no great relationship expert, says Fernanda. No. Let you in. Yeah, I've got it for as low as 99 cents. That's my cheapest one, which is fine. So Crescendo, she's gone through and looked at that that new TLC show where two people got married after losing their spouses, and she was criticizing the fact that they didn't have time to grieve. So, and we're just having the conversation that some people need to some people need somebody in their life. KJ, leave these people and she's getting boring. Even my 80-year-old, nearly 80-year-old dad saw her one day when mum was watching her and said she's crazy. You aren't relating. Yeah, don't feel pressured. Don't feel pressured at all. That's, I don't want anybody to feel pressured at all. And I'd feel horrible if you actually felt that you needed to do it. So when I get some... Yeah, she went and stalked a woman. She did Crescendo, which I find to be very distasteful. I find it distasteful. She blocked me, but my daughter logged into my tablet under her mirror, got her notifications. My daughter was the one that introduced me to KJ. Blame your daughter, eh?
Like awkward. And then you see them and they're not holding hands. And so I'm like, okay, something's going on here. And then the vows, they didn't hold hands. Then the vows were really weird.
They didn't hold hands. You go for it, Crescendo. You can share whatever you'd like. You have to show me how to do that podcast. Yep. Did you want me to wait, Crescendo? Because I'm happy to wait. I'll just play for a little bit long. I'll just play for a couple more minutes and then...
And I was like, what is this? Is there these purity vows? Well, actually, no, that's not what they were doing. So what happened was this afternoon, I get a DM. I get a DM about Jana is dating someone. Now, that was also confirmed to me today, too. So she is courting someone, and apparently, before we get into the Jed stuff, here's what I was told today. Jeremiah, Jason, Jana, and Jed all are in relationships right now, and apparently the Duggars are being really weird about all of it. So I don't know who Jason is courting, but I was told that he's involved with someone. Jeremiah, I'm assuming, is courting Hannah Wisman, and I'm assuming that Jana is courting Stephen Wisman. I had people reach out to me that saw Jana and Stephen at an event around Valentine's Day at some sort of church in Arkansas.
What will she do if the show gets cancelled and she's invested so much time into her research? I don't know. Laura. Crescendo says, lost my husband, 2 children during the genocide in Rwanda, remarried England years later, lost my second husband on my 36th birthday. Oh, so sorry to hear that, Crescendo. How horrifying. So sorry to hear that. And it makes me sick that someone would speak about any of my loved ones who passed away. I think you're right, Crescendo. I just think it's really, I think it's really tacky and bad. It didn't last too long, too independent, and he was quite stubborn. That's my fear, halfway's over, is that I think that because it's nearly 10 years since I've been on my own, I'm sort of set in my own little ways, and I don't know how I would actually go, having to share with somebody else again. No, very strong crescendo. I'm sorry, but I don't think YouTube will cancel her. Why? I'm not sure. I just don't see it happening. I'm taking upon to bring. I feel that it is personal. Yeah. So her whole purpose for sharing that stuff about the husband's wife that passed away was that it was on a public memorial site. But my point is, just because it's public doesn't mean that it's right. Oh, you lost yours, Fernando. You lost yours 2 years ago. Wow. It doesn't mean it's right because something is there doesn't mean it's right. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do something. And she talks about how she has morals and morals, but for me, I just think that's not moral. That's not morals. Yeah. I haven't even finished my the spell check. He's playing games. I'm just going to go back to listen. Okay. I find it bad taste and disrespectful. KJ does it for attention, nothing more. Correct. I think she does. Oops. Her nose there doesn't mean she should pick it live. Yes, that's right. Of course, they're being funny about it. May fall over. Well, that's right. She couldn't even spell morals properly. That's the one thing I'd never accused KJ of, is having morals. And why does it matter whether the woman was pregnant when she got married or anything? What is showing that the guy lied or allegedly lying? That's what she's trying to say, that he wasn't telling the truth. What does that prove? All that's going to do is give him more heartache. I think, it's only going to cause him more pain. Why would you do that to somebody?
And there's this smaller church that some of them go to where they keep everything very like the Duggars, obviously, with their presence, they have to find churches that will not push them out or will help them keep their privacy. So I guess there's some local churches around there that Jana and this guy could go to, and people would not put out that stuff. So apparently they were seen around Valentine's Day. Anyways, and it's Stephen Wisman, and with Jeremiah, it's assumed, though not confirmed, that it's Hannah Wisman. And then I'm still waiting to figure out with Jason, because the person told me that one of the Duggars is dating someone from the Pratt family, but I'm not sure who.
Thank you, everyone. And we can see grief affects people differently because shock. People are that's right, Fernando. People are different. She has a weird joy in others' pain. She does, doesn't she? Sarah loves donuts. She's making it look like he had to lie because of his church. She'll do anything to make a church look bad. Correct, Wind Whispers. So.
and I don't know what girl. The prop family is humongous. There's like several of them. They're like this.
The family's humongous with several of them. Now, the last time I knew, several meant more than several was like 4 or 5. Humongous like is like 10 plus. So humongous, several. I've never been on any of KJ's sites. I have most of the information from other channels, Lord Nerds, and well, that's a good way to go, short order cook. I think that's a good way. I agree, Crescendo. There's no way that should be happening. More than 2 is several. Well, she said humongous and several. So, So, yeah, several is more than 2. Humongous. What's the definition of humongous? Is there a definition for humongous? Is there a number allocation for humongous? Humongous meaning huge, enormous. Does not have a number. It doesn't. It just means extremely large. So it means. Oh dear. 94 is, yeah, like you can't say humongous and several. That doesn't work.
Humongous fundamentalist family. They have a church, and then there's all these different like adults that have like large families. So they have a church called like the Friendly, or the, I don't even remember. It's all in my DMs. Yeah, so Jana and Jeremiah are likely dating siblings. So there's, yeah, so much tea tonight, you guys, so much. And so I want to assure you guys that, like, when I'm giving you guys information, I vet my sources and I make sure that they are who they say they are. I have been able to verify specifically. And one of the sources is one of the people that you're getting so much of this from. I mean, they've sent me photos. It's who I got the invitation from.
The thing is, the Duggars, if watching this, they're going to work out who their source is, because like there's so many hints being dropped here. And I'm sure the Duggars will work it out. I haven't seen Poppy. No, she sometimes yeah, she might pop in a little bit later. I think she's okay. But it is Sunday night too, so
they're very connected to all of this. So there are plenty of people that are around the Duggars that will talk. So here's the deal about Jed before I go like so far off the wall. So earlier today, to get back to it, I'll do.
So you say Poppy's name, and here she appears out of nowhere. Poppy seeds, poppy seeds, poppy seeds, and here she comes. I wonder if she checks IDs to very age. I don't know whether she probably would. I've been lurking. Oh, so Poppy, do you think it's tacky that she was researching somebody's deceased? Off the wall, she said it. And yes, she reinforces how she tries to, yes, that's interesting. Somebody did say that she essentially just about spills the beans on one of the sources, so it's going to be interesting. I haven't seen it all the way through. I actually got bored about halfway. I've only got about halfway when I was watching it, and I got bored. So,
like a video on all of this, but there's so much right now. It's like I feel like I'm having a Duggar explosion. And I apologize on my channel if there's just so much Duggar content, but it's just like I have so many Duggar sources that are like coming forward right now, and they're all reliable. So earlier today, I ended up, now, by the way, yeah. By the way, get your drinks ready. You got your tea? I'm drinking a beer tonight. Get your tea, get your coffee, get your juice. Let's have some fun. Okay, so this afternoon, I get a message from someone, and they are friends with somebody connected to Caitlyn Nakatsu. And here's what the tea is on Caitlyn Nakatsu. So Katie's parents, Kimberly and Corey, they're divorced.
Somebody has said, Poppy Seeds, that she's already republished something. The videos she privated have all started to come back or something. Definitely not. There's something. She's done something to do with Tati already. Sorry, I've been away. Sleep is good sometimes. Well, you've just got in time for Katie opening up the beer, Rick. So you better open up the bar. So thank you for your super chat, Rick. Is it no, it's Friday, isn't it? It's Friday. Saturday. Saturday, is it? Oh, it was Friday, wasn't it? Was this Friday night? Oh, I don't know. I'm confused when this was. All I have is my daughter. She's wow. Apparently Toad said he did say that. Oops. Oh, it's Sunday. It's Sunday morning now. So this was done on Saturday. Yeah. Okay. An old video and money while the interest is there. People trying to play detective on her videos. That's right. It would be in the best interests if they left the Westbrooks alone. They need the super chat money.
Forced. And I guess Corey and his first wife, Kimberly, had a split over religion. So Corey is in the IBLP, and he's like a devout Christian. And I guess Kimberly, the ex-wife, that's Katie's mom, is a Mormon. And I guess I'm told that when Kimberly, Katie's mom, joined the LDS church, Corey was not cool with that, and she didn't want to leave the church. And so they ended up breaking up, I guess, over their faith.
She blocked me because I'm now a public figure, probably. That is probably correct. You'll have to tell us what this beer's like too, Rick. Not that I drink it, but some malt, I think. But I thought she said she only drank red wine, but you know, we're going to semantics. But she said she only kept wine in the house, a bottle of wine, and she only drank. Is it honey malt? I think it was honey malt or something, wasn't it? I think she talks about it in a minute. I don't think she's talked about the beer yet.
And Corey and the kids are still very much into the IBLP world. So Corey's Christian, Kimberly is Mormon, Katie's Christian. Corey has been very much part of the IBLP for a long time. He's remarried to a woman with a K name. I think her name is Carrie. And she's the stepmother. I think she's mostly she's still.
Well, there is a video that has me on the problematic YouTube list. I must say didn't take me long to get there. Didn't take me long to be found out. So Oh, see you, Crescendo. Have a nice day. Thank you for the super chat, Crescendo. Very lovely of you. Poppy Seeds, are you anywhere near the flooding? Are you safe at the moment? Because Diamond Crystal Arts is on the edge of it. Safe at the moment. But where are you located? It's funny. Hey, Julianne. How are you? So I don't have slow mode on, so it may jump all over the place.
Still has a relationship with her biological mom. I just don't know to what extent. And I also don't know how involved she is in all of this. But the person I talked to said that this arrangement was complete, their marriage was totally arranged. So they basically said that it's a financial arrangement, and I don't know what that means. I'm guessing maybe a dowry, maybe. I have no idea. But they arranged the two of them, and it's a betrothal. So it's different than a courtship. And when you are arranged or betrothed to someone, it's totally different in the fundamentalist world.
No, she's got it on. It's just that's fine. That's all right. You go. That's okay. We don't. Yeah, you have a great night. Thank you.
You need a new beer, get those beer. This beer is called Mexican Honey. It's by Indeed Brewing Company. It's an imperial lager.
There you go, Rick. There's the beer. I've paused it for you, Rick.
No, I have a theory about why he's trying to marry off dead.
Hi, Shocked Kitten. How are you? Welcome, Shocked Kitten, to chat tonight.
And I think it has to do with political stuff. But anyways, so here's what I was told. I was told it was a royal fundy wedding. So apparently Corey is wealthy. And Corey has a lot of condos that he owns. He is a property owner, and then he has a flight school that he owns. His grandmother and his grandfather are actually immigrants from Japan. So Corey is very into his Japanese heritage. His father is 100% Japanese. His grandmother's name was Tomi, and his.
So where did KJ find the 18,000? I have no idea where she's found that.
His grandfather's name was Koryo. And so Corey actually made a movie. Wild, right? I watched the whole movie. His grandmother sounds pretty cool, actually.
because she found a movie, she was researching, and she was doing a deep dive, and she found a video that Caitlyn's dad had made about the family. So, because you can call me Dom or DJ, I get tired. Why does everyone so sure KJ's broke? She would surely have to have some savings because she's been making a lot of money on YouTube. So I would like to think there was some savings. I know that if I was making that much, that I would have savings. My kids have savings because they make me spend all my money. You can't have another chat and just with her. Cool.
It's wild because I wonder if his grandmother would be like, this is so cool what you're doing or whatever. But anyways, so his grandmother is from a family in Japan that has like political ties. And I guess so his grandmother's uncle was in the House of Representatives in Japan. And he was in the House of Representatives for many terms, and he went broke. And he made a lot of money while he was in the government, but he also spent more money than he was making. And
although she did say, Poppy Seeds, that the money that she should be feeding her child with was going to the lawsuit. So a lot of people took that to imply that she possibly was struggling with money. Is that what it costs, Fernando? I don't know what everything costs. My son has more money than I do. He has no excuse. Next pack lined up. So sure, one packet of cheeses, next pack lined up. Oh, I haven't had cheeses for ages. Happy Sunday, Dutch Spirit.
And so what happened is that the grandfather or the uncle, his great uncle, right? That's right. His great uncle ends up basically his great great uncle basically gets the family in a really financial crisis. And so what happens is his grandmother's father, and the way that inheritance works in Japan, I learned so much today. Thank you, Corey. The way that inheritance works in Japan is that it goes to the eldest son. And so his uncle was the eldest son. And so their grandfather was really wealthy. So Tomi's dad, or Tomi's grandpa, was very wealthy. And he had a mansion, and he had I don't even know what he did. I am not sure what he did in Japan.
So, Rick, did you see the beer that she was drinking? Answer should be round 10 for a simple lawsuit. If your lawsuit is complicated, that's wow. Just spent money like a drunken sailor should be recovered. And she complained about skimming kids' college. Wow.
But he was very wealthy, and they had political connections. And when the dad passed away, the uncle was supposed to inherit everything based on Japanese inheritance traditions. The oldest son is supposed to get everything. And so her dad, Tomi's dad, was underneath in terms of the age. I know, it's very confusing. So, anyways, Corey is our hero with all this information. Yes, here, I'll show you some photos so you can see. Okay. So this is his great-great-grandfather. So this is actually, so this is his grandmother's father. Okay. And then, no, actually, this is his that's his grandmother in the white, with the white, and then next to her is her father. Okay, and they came from a wealthy family in Japan. Okay.
No, I haven't really talked about it, Dutch Spirit, because I didn't like the content of it. Did you? But the girl admits she was, wow, really? There was no assault? Wow, that's interesting, Dutch Spirit. This is one of the Duggar's new fiancés, Poppy Seeds. Duggar's, correct. How did you guess? There was an engagement of Jed Duggar and Caitlyn Nakatsu or something, and so she's gone back. She's been investigating the family history because they're from Japan.
And she was and that's her. Okay. And she was the youngest daughter, I think, of them. Okay. So his grandmother was in Japan, and her dad, which I'll go back to the dad so you have some like frames of references here. So here's her with her dad. So her dad is her brother and her. She's got an older sister, and she's got like two brothers.
Yes, she is. She's investigating the family history of the fiance. Yes.
And then there's her, and she's the youngest girl, okay? And her dad's brother is the oldest of the family, and he is set to inherit all of the family's wealth, okay? But he ends up going into politics. So her uncle in the white, that's Tommy, her uncle goes into politics, and he ends up he spends a ton of money, and he basically squanders the family's fortune. So in order for the family to get right, Tommy's father, who has the bow tie on, sent her brother to the United States to work to help pay off the uncle's debt so that they didn't lose the family mansion. Okay. So once they send the son to the United States, what happens is they realize that Tommy, who is going to school, and she just doesn't she's going to school in Japan, and they move around to get her a better education. They actually arrange her to be married to another prominent family that is from Japan, but this guy is already in the United States. So at the time, what happened is that she couldn't go over there until she was married to him. So they sent a picture, and she was called a picture bride. And so basically what they would do is if there was a Japanese immigrant here, the family...
I have so much trouble sorting out family trees. I'm lost after grandparents. Sorting out, yeah. Well, apparently, so what she's saying is that the fiance's father did a video of his family history, and she's watched this. I don't know where she's found the video because people have asked for the link, and it hasn't been shared as far as I have seen. Like, it wasn't in, and she did say someone that she would share it on her YouTube video. I haven't seen it there. It could be there now, but it wasn't when I last checked. And that he did this family history thing. And so this is where this information's come from, I understand.
Families would exchange photos. And so, and I'm sharing all of this with you so you understand why arrangement is a part of this family's history. So her parents exchange a photo.
And her point is that Jed Duggar and Caitlyn Nakatsu's weddings arranged. That's the point she's making. And this is her proof.
With the other parents. And neither one of them see photos until they actually meet each other. It's crazy. But her husband's family comes from another family that's sort of prominent in the area. So in order to get her over there, they marry her in Japan without her ever meeting him so that she can go over on an immigrant visa. And then when she comes, she enters the United States through San Francisco and she goes through like Angel Island. Okay. And once they get to Angel Island, she meets him for the very first time and they get formally married in the United States. Okay. So then I'm just sharing this all so you understand. So Katie's family is, her grandparents are her great grandparents are Japanese. Corey, her dad, is really into this Japanese history. And when they come here to the United States, his grandmother and her grandfather, they open this market. Angel Island, yes. They open a market, but there's so much. They talk about the internment camps.
So we're getting a history now, like we're getting a history lesson.
They were never put in the internment camps, but they came here before the war, and it's just a really interesting. I was like, why am I even watching this? But it was actually kind of fascinating if you like want to know the history of like some Japanese immigrants that didn't go to internment camps and what they had to go through. It was pretty rough. They like lived in restricted areas and stuff, and so it was basically talking about like during all of that time, they met a family, a woman that was a reverend, and that's how they converted from Buddhism to Christianity. And so even though they converted from all of the from Buddhism to Christianity, he is still like really into they opened a market. Yeah. So they not only did they open a market, but they farmed. So they moved to California for a period of time and they did farming.
I don't know, Dutch Spirit. I have not, I can't tell you how it all worked.
They couldn't own property at the time because they weren't allowed to become citizens, and because there was such extensive racism against Japanese Americans at the time. So they ended up farming for a while. Then they moved to Arizona, and they still weren't able to buy property, but they were able to rent some farming land. And then during the internment area during the war, they were never put in the internment camps. But their neighbors who were Caucasian basically took care of them. And so their neighbors, they weren't allowed to go like shopping. They couldn't go get groceries. They weren't allowed to sell their produce. And they had all of these people that were like Caucasian around them that were like helping them basically survive, which is awesome. It's like awesome to hear these kinds of stories that there was like people way back in the day that were doing things to help this family. And apparently, over time, they save all of.
Hi, Kimmy Lee 10. For her to have an alcoholic husband, have alcohol in the house, something is wrong with it. Yeah, well, I wouldn't have it in the house if. And remember in that same one, she said she only drank wine. So.
With their money, she gets really freaked out, and they're not allowed to put any money in the bank during this whole time. And this is, I don't know, I'm just sharing this. This is just wild stuff. Anyways, they're not allowed to put any money in the bank during this time. And she apparently cashes out all of her money. She puts it in $100 bills and she puts it into a mason jar and she buries it underneath a tree in her yard. Because during this time, Japanese Americans were not allowed to use the banks. So anyways, once the war is over and Japanese Americans were
Hi, Christoph fan, always. How are you?
allowed to become citizens, she ended up going to get the money and she ends up buying some property. So after they buy the property, she's able to rent some space and they open a market. And so their farm had been where they just where they just sold their produce, and it turned into where they just had like a roadside stand, and then it turned into a market, and it was called Nakatsu Ranch Market, and it was open for years and years and years. And apparently, his grandmother told me was his grandfather was like really laid back, and like his grandmother was like the force. Okay, so anyways, his father Frank.
Did you say the grandmother was like the fourth? Sounds like something out of Star Wars. The summer of the 17th Lord. Oh, does it? It's vaguely familiar, Fernando. I may have seen it. May not have either, but the title's vaguely familiar.
He has this tie to his Japanese heritage. And so his grandparents both end up passing away. So his grandfather passes away, I think, in like 1967. And even though they were arranged, they had 9 kids. And they were still they loved each other. They respected each other. The kids were interviewed, and even the kids said their parents had a really good relationship.
Why is that such a shock that people that had an arranged marriage were actually in love? Why is that shocking? That's the question.
Relationship. They didn't the dad was really supportive of the mother. So anyways, his dad then marries his mother. So his dad, his name is Frank, and I think they had 2 boys, Jimmy and Frank. Isn't it weird that I know all these names? So Jimmy and Frank, both of them have since passed away. But Frank was married to a white woman. So they're 100% Japanese, and he marries a white woman, and her name was Elsie. And he and Elsie, Frank and Elsie, have 2 kids, I think. And so...
Yes, Laura, I have to agree with you because that's what she was doing to me. I don't get much further than this myself. Yeah, it is weird. It is, yeah, I know, and yeah, it's bizarre. All this for a Duggar engagement. Well, Jim Bob only has to watch this to get. We're getting a history. Yeah, we are getting a history lesson today about Jed Duggar's fiancé's family.
Of those kids is Corey. And then they get divorced. How do I hold all this information? It's a steel trap. I love learning this kind of stuff, though. If I'm interested in something, you guys, I will I'll watch somebody's genealogy video. This was fascinating to me, honestly. I didn't know much about. I felt like I learned a lot about internment time. You don't really ever see things from the immigrant perspective. It's fascinating to me. My grandparents were immigrants, and I always think God, it would be so cool if I could see a video about my grandparents. They came from Germany, and I would love to see something like that, but nothing like that exists for me. So I feel like sometimes.
Hi, Peter. Hi, Claire.
I want to watch other people's stuff. So anyways, he is really into, even though they're Christians, he's very attached to that history, right? His father is Japanese, so he's half Japanese, obviously, and he has his grandmother that he absolutely loves.
His father's Japanese. Of course he's going to be Japanese. Yeah, she thought it was worth making money off Claire. Yeah. Well, doesn't she invest the time into doing uncovering her own ancestry? Well, that would require work, Laura. This is already done for her. She doesn't ever see stuff like this because she doesn't watch any documentaries. Japanese can't be Christian. I hate to break it to you, KJ. Before History Channel and the internet, we had books. So he jumped out being a baby shark. That's pretty cool. So she giving a lesson, history lesson. I don't like. Yes. So this is all to prove a point that arranged marriages are something that's in the family of Jed's fiance, because she's stating that Jed and Katie's engagement was arranged. So this is the story.Uld you imagine giving evidence in court? All she has to say is yes or no, and then she's going on for 23 minutes.
And his grandmother was known to like make food and take care of the whole community. And I can share you a link. Like when I make a video on YouTube, I'll share you the whole link. It's hard to share links on Instagram. So, anyways, he's really into, I think the arrangement, long story short, I think the arrangement aspect of it comes from his Japanese history or his heritage. Because it's not uncommon in Japanese culture that like parents arrange marriages with their kids. And so I think this betrothal comes from his Japanese heritage, but they converted to Christianity because the family became friends with a reverend who was Christian, and they gave up Buddhism, and then his grandmother became very active in the Christian church. So he has a very strong connection to his grandma, who was in an arranged marriage, and I think that's kind of where this all comes from. So anyways, what I'm told about this arrangement specifically. So I guess that whole backstory is to sort of say to you guys that it has to do, I think some of this comes from like the dad's heritage. So anyways, the woman from the mom's side, or from Katie's side, basically says that Corey and Jim somehow arranged this, and it's a financially driven fundamentalism royalty type wedding. Corey and his family are wealthy. They have a lot of money. Jim Bob obviously is wealthy, and there's a financial incentive here. Now, why would Jed get arranged? My theory, and nobody has confirmed this, so obviously this is my speculation here, is that Jed has political aspirations, and he recently ran for office and lost. And I think part of the reason he lost not only was because of his age, but was because he lacked real life experience. And so my guess is Jim Bob wants to get him married. He lost his political kid with Josh, right? So his next option now for the Duggar empire in politics is Jed. And in order for Jed to do that, they got to get Jed married. So why was the whole, he wasn't married, exactly. Like it looks better from a political perspective for him to get married. And then
really? You have to be married? So this entire dive to justify assumption arranged marriage is to win political office. Yeah, because an arranged marriage very good. Oh dear. Oh dear. Yes, that's what she's saying, Bo.
By the next time he runs, he can be married, he can have a kid, this thing, right? So anyways, you love me. Thank you. So anyways, why was that arrangement why was the video so weird? Okay, so how betrothals work, and this is what, now on the flip side, my fundy friend, they're so sweet. I love the funny friends that like, and can I tell you guys,
do we know that it's, so we know that her source is a female. Because she just said she. I love my fundy friend, she. She's just, so it's a female.
Secrets. There's fundies that send me all kinds of messages, and they're like on the verge of leaving the fundy world, but they're friends with the Duggars, and they watch this content because they are like starting to reevaluate how they think about things. And so, like they told me tonight that they're sort of like starting to realize a lot of the things that they've been learning their whole life are really effed up. And I was like, this is working. Like, so I want to create a space where people that are considering leaving, like, that's why I try not to be super snarky and rude, because I want to be kind to people that might, leave an open door policy. You know what I mean? So anyways, what this person told to me today was this. It's a fundy snitch. So anyways, on Reddit, they're like, who are these people that are coming forward? I'll tell y'all, it's fundy snitches. The fundies are snitching. Okay. So anyways, here's what's happening. So they said, you know what? I was watching a bunch of your videos, and I watched the engagement video. And I was like, yeah. And they're like, that's a betrothal. And I was like, what are you talking about? And they're like, that's a betrothal. And I was like, okay. So basically what a betrothal is it matches exactly what the person on Katie's side told me. And it was this.
I can't stand it when she says fundy. I'm not one, but she's just so disrespectful. Says, give me Lee 10. Scotch and Polish arranged marriages in my family. Scotch and Polish. Sorry. What's a fundy? A snitch. So a fundy is a fundamentalist. A snitch is somebody who tells on somebody else. Nothing against arranged marriage, but it's far outside the norm for politics. Yeah, so snitch is somebody who's telling her all this story. So it's a tradition that the oldest son got everything, lots of cultures. It's the same with Italians. And I'm half Italian. My brother got everything, house, cars, money, but it's okay. Wow. Before he left me, he took care of me. Oh, that's nice. As I said, it's still common in India today. It happens a lot in Buddhist and Hindus, particularly the lady that I was talking to from India said it was quite common in the Hindu culture for arranged marriages as well. Okay, I've settled into this chat. Even my bra came off. Is it in the freezer though, Peter?
That on Katie's side, they said it was an arrangement. Well, a betrothal is an arranged marriage, and at the engagement, so they've already decided they're going to be together, right? The parents have arranged it, which is why everything looks so weird and formal, right? Like they walked in, it was so like, it looked like clinical to me. Like they're just walking down and they're like, we're gonna go sit down, and I'm gonna just get down on one knee, and there's not gonna be any tears, and then I'm gonna say yes, and then we're gonna go like. And then we're going to do a weird side hug where we look like we have zero chemistry and we don't even really know each other. Anyways, so basically what the fundy told me was that in a betrothal, the parents set the rules. And it's like no touching. It's an arrangement. The parents arrange you. You are at the betrothal ceremony. You are not allowed to announce you're even in a relationship until the engagement. And then the engagement is actually a commitment ceremony. So the commitment ceremony is where they actually say vows to each other. And so that's what you heard in those things. Those weren't purity vows. Those were a vow of betrothal. So they're vowing to commit to one another to their union. No touching until the wedding night. Yeah. Yeah. Crazy. The reason why we did not hear about Lauren Caldwell and Titus Hall is because that was a betrothal too, but it didn't work out in the long run. Oh God, and I've got some.
Right, so she's going to have some more tea. I think you're right. She doesn't get what it is. See you, Sarah Loves Donuts. Catch you later.
Tea about Paul Caldwell and Jim Bob Duggar. They do not like each other. You guys are so much tea. I guess Paul and Jim do not like each other, and there was a huge blow up at their church last year. Okay, so anyways, the side hug was like just an awkward side hug. Anyways, so yeah, they don't spell. Oh.
No, so Fundy is fundamentalist. A snitch is somebody who tells tales, a tattletale. So when she says a Fundy snitch, so she's saying that somebody from the fundamentalist society is telling her all about, or is gossiping on the Duggars, is telling all the stories. Well, that's exactly right, Dom. How is it wrong? A lot of people wait till marriage. So yes, Sarah Loves Donuts. Just because you don't understand something doesn't mean awkward side Heidi because that's second base. So you don't understand something doesn't mean that it's wrong. It might be.
Oh, there's so much. There's so much. I don't even know where to start. It's all over the place. I know there's so much. Thank you to all of my Fundy sources, and to any of you that are watching. Just know that my DMs are always open. I am respectful. I am kind. I am loving to every single person. I have so many people I talk to that I don't agree with politically. I don't agree with spiritually, but we can still be kind to each other. And at the end of the day, like, I feel like you cannot have growth and help people leave a fundamentalist mindset if you're rude to them and mean to them. All right. So let me finish out.
What do you reckon about that statement, hey? I mean, let's be serious. If Todd had waited, he wouldn't have been so shady. For someone who cares about diversity, should be careful not to bring hate to Asian American by exposing the family. Just saying. That's a good point, Crescendo. She blocks people, says Laura. Bye, Crescendo. Is it me or does KJ resemble the catch me outside girl from Dr. Phil? I don't know. Good, interesting question.
On the Jen tea, and then we'll get to the Jim Bob tea. So here's so here is that was a commitment ceremony, basically. And I don't know if you noticed this, but in her vows, people were all like, oh, that's so sweet. No. She basically vowed to Jed that she would view him the way that Christ views the church. And she said the way that, like, as the church prepares for Christ, basically being like the church serves Christ, she said that she would be looking to Jed as her leader. So she is committing to submission. I encourage you guys to re-listen to her vows, and you will literally hear her commit to basically saying, like, I'll let you own me. And he basically says, like, I will own you. It's so creepy and weird, but that's the betrothal way. Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. Okay. So looked awkward and weird, and that's why it looked like a clinical engagement. So long story short, owning is not love. It's not. So you guys, can I just talk to you guys about something? It's not sweet to pledge to your person that they can own you. That's not sweet. There's nothing sweet about that. There's nothing sweet about you having to like worship your husband. You're basically telling your husband, you are my God. That's gross. This is definitely submission ownership. Beauty Lush Babe. Please find help if you believe that it's not. And nobody should be submissive to anyone. Period. In this cult, women have no rights. Okay. Now let's get on.
No one. That's probably why she doesn't have an employer. You could say, you can't tell me what to do.
On to Jim, Bob, and Paul. Apparently, Jim, Bob, and Paul don't get along. And I guess the Duggars left Paul's church last year. I'm still trying to figure out why. But there was this huge dust up, and it had to do with the nursery. Who was going to run the nursery? And I guess Jim, Bob, and Paul pretend like they're friends for like the wider public.
Whether we like it or not, there is always somebody that you have to listen to and take instruction from. That's why she told her YouTube manager she would do as she plays. Yes. So even though it's not, submission as such, you have somebody that you have to answer to and be held accountable to, whether it's your employer, your parents, if you're a child. And I don't know what's wrong with both parents adoring each other and doing everything they can for the other person. I don't see anything wrong with that. But that's just me. So for her to say nobody should be submitting to anybody, you actually have to submit to the law of the land. You actually have to follow laws. You have to submit to your government. So I disagree with that statement. Let me know if you disagree or agree. There isn't anything wrong with that, Joe. Yeah. Well, I don't. Yeah. Don't listen to her lies. Honestly, I was thinking of this today. I'm a career advisor specializing on older workers. If her and Todd came to me, I would not know what to do with them. Imagine what she'd say to the cops if they told her what to do. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what she was saying, but that's the society that we live in. You have somebody, everybody has somebody that they have to submit to. Now, in a marriage, I believe it should be equal. It should be equal. But in every other aspect, I mean, the teacher, student, boss, employer, it's just the way that life has been generated, It's a circle of life.
Public, but their personalities completely clash. And Jim Bob was letting Paul live in his house for free for years. Paul Caldwell, Kendra Caldwell's dad. And now, I know, so Jim was letting Paul live in his house for free. Paul was working for Jim, but not paying Paul what he should have been being paid. And then they have this dust up at church, and the Duggars leave Paul's church, and the Duggars' friends all go with them. And now Paul's church only has like 30 people that are at the church, and some of the Duggars are going back, but a lot of them are still not there. and Paul and Jim are trying to like cordially like reconnect their relationship, but I guess now Paul and mind you, Paul's wife Christina is pregnant with her 9th child. He has not.
Now this is going to be interesting. I did actually hear this bit, and I find this again very distasteful. And she's going to talk about. She thinks she's the online version of a New Idea. She's going to talk about what adults do together. So just be aware, okay? Just so I need to just put that warning there. What happens when 2 consenting adults are in love? All right, here we go.
Paid rent on his own house, I guess, in years, and now he's living in the house that is supposed to be Kendra and Joe's house. So Kendra and Joe got a house, I guess, from like Jim Bob, and they like sacrificed that house, and Kendra and Joe are letting their parents live there, and I guess they're living there for free. So long story short, Paul Caldwell and Christina Caldwell don't like to pay rent, or they like don't have the money to buy their own house, or they don't have enough money to like pay for their own stuff, allegedly, and they don't even have money to like build a house. And Kendra and Joe are letting them live in their house, I guess. And I get
some children sometimes will actually let their parents live in their houses because they're taking care. It's just like sometimes I know of parents that let their children live in their house. They were leaving for a little while. It happens quite often where if you own a house, you let your family members who need it move in. It's not uncommon. Yes, she could have, Jean. And somewhat expect in other countries, yes.
Yes, for a while, Kendra and Joe were barely on speaking terms with Jim Bob and Michelle because of the fight between Paul and Jim. Oh, I love you guys. I know. I'm like, Paul, put on a condom. You can't clearly afford your family. Stop having kids. So I guess Jim Bob and Paul got into a fight last year, allegedly. And Paul had been living in Jim Bob's house for free for years. And then suddenly Jim Bob wanted to make him pay rent. No, not the.
But how can Jim Bob be making him pay rent if the house was Kendra's and Joe's? She signed the house over to her father to try and avoid using it during legal costs. Family takes care of family, friends take care of friends. I had a couple and their 3 children stay with me for 6 months because they hit financial hardship, says Claire. Diamond Crystal says, well, I don't like you, KJ. Well, yeah.
Log house. Are they in the log house? I don't even know. I need a bigger glass. So apparently Joe and Kendra were not really even on speaking terms with the Duggars for like a whole like while the Paul and Jim Bob were fighting. So the Caldwells did have to move. Yes. No, so Kendra and Joe built a house and the Caldwells live in it. They don't even live in the house they built.
How is that funny? If Jim Bob just dropped a case on her right now and refuted, then yeah, well, that's true. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? I don't think it's very funny, but like, what's funny about? Anyway, that just confused it. I think it was signed over before the suit so they could get financial assistance for their son. Oh, okay.
They gave it to their parents. And then once the parents can afford to buy their own house, Kendra and Joe can have the house again. Can you imagine your dad is so broke? You're like, dude, you can live in my house. And I don't.
Again, what is wrong with that? What is wrong with that? I already said my kids have more money than what I do.
I don't know why Jim Bob and I'm still trying to figure out why Jim Bob and Paul don't like each other. I guess their personalities clash because they're both kind of narcissists. I'm gonna do a video on all of this. There's so much. The house, yes. So it was really awkward too because the house is on the Duggars' property. So Kendra, Joe, and the parents were like all living on the property, and it was super awkward because they weren't on speaking terms, I guess. I love fundies that spill, man. I don't know. I'll have to ask them. The person I talk to is friends with all of these people. I know. When they were telling me this, you guys, I was like, dude, Paul Caldwell needs to wear a damn condom and stop getting Christina pregnant if he can't afford a house.
She's not familiar with families helping out family. It just comes off strange to her, yes. She just hates other people working the system better than she can, says Fernando. Why is it so funny discussing someone else's family, but it was gross that Manda Pants was talking about? Yes, exactly, Peter. Like she thinks she's 13. What is the difference here, hey? And she's now put the video on YouTube. Even if I was mad at my dad, I wouldn't want him to be homeless. I agree. She's so strange, yeah.
Okay, so then I said, so here's some more tea. Okay, so Kendra was dating Jed Duggar. Did you know that? So Kendra and Jed were like dating for a while. And they split, but I guess Jed also was like, Joe was into Kendra at the same time. So when it fell apart, he swooped in and got Kendra, right? So Kendra and Joe got together after Jed and Kendra had been courting. And they got married. Can you imagine taking your siblings like scraps? Like, it didn't work out, you can have her.
That is actually very disrespectful and very degrading. She's just degraded a woman there. She referred to her as scraps. That is disgusting. She said, can you imagine taking your brother's scraps? No. We are talking about a woman here, a person.
But I'm actually told that, so this is what I said to him. I was like, oh, but that's probably better for Kendra because Jed looks like kind of a prick. Like, Jed seems like arrogant to me. He does. He comes off as super arrogant to me. And they're like, yeah, he's kind of an arrogant jerk. And I was like, see, I told you. Joe is apparently really, really nice, like a really nice guy. And I said, you know who else seems really nice is John David. And they said, John David is awesome. And I was like, I knew it. I knew John David was a good guy. I knew it. I know everyone's lost. There's so much tea spilling right now. I think Joe's an upgrade too. So Joe is actually a pretty nice guy. He's also really thoughtful and like just laid back.
It doesn't matter who somebody goes out with before they get married. to be honest. But I don't like how, referring to somebody as being someone else's scraps.
He's going. John is apparently really, really nice. I guess Josiah is like really hard to handle. And there's lots of rumors about Josiah being not into women. So there's that. And then I hate speculating on that kind of stuff, but it keeps coming up with people I talk to. And then
is there no boundary here? Like, is there really no bound? Don't forget how many times that she said that Jana was, let's talk about rumors, about who Jenna was dating. Now she's supposed to be dating a man, like, seriously, this is just ridiculous. All she does is try to hurt women.
Let's see. Jason is apparently courting someone, but Justin's kind of a jerk, and so is Jason. And apparently Joanna is super stuck up, according to the source. Jill is really sweet. We already knew that. Oddly, Jessa is nice. Shocking. James is getting better. So apparently the younger Duggar boys are kind of snooty and stuck up. And if you think about it, they started getting famous when some of those littles were like babies, like toddlers. So they've grown up kind of like different than their older siblings. So I guess like James and Justin and Jason and Jackson, I guess they're kind of like jerky, I guess, apparently. And cocky and just full of themselves, apparently. So the only thing they said about Jana was, for the longest time, they started to believe the rumors that Jana was dating Laura because nothing made sense about her. But they say Jana's nice. But they also said that Jana doesn't do as much around the house as you think she does. So there's these long rumors that they say that Jana like takes care of the kids, and they said that that's absolutely not true. They said that she doesn't do the schooling. That's on Michelle. She said that they said that Jana's gone most of the time.
So she's
doing her own thing with friends.
She said, and then she corrected herself and said they said. So she's put her foot in it. They are getting famous, and that is the problem, yes. But she said, initially she said, which means her source is a woman.
She's not around the house very much. So this idea that Jana's holding the house together is apparently not true. She's rarely around, from what I'm told.
Well, that's the story KJ kept saying, that she was doing all the schooling and everything. So it shows that KJ's been wrong.
But I guess, like, even people in the circles were, like, convinced that Jana was just not into girls or into guys, and that's why it's been going on for all this time. But anyways, Jana is now dating someone, that Stephen guy. So Jana is not staying for the kids. That's not a thing.
Are you going to apologize for all the stuff that you said about Jana now?
And apparently, do you want to hear why Josh and Anna moved out of their house? I guess it had black mold. That's the story they told people. So they owned a house after Josh got out of rehab, and they had to get rid of the house because it apparently had black mold. And then they sold the house. So apparently they're now living on the property of like the Duggars, and even friends can't figure out why Josh hasn't left the property. Yeah, they had black mold, allegedly. But the thing I think is weird is that the black mold, I know, how did they sell it if it had black mold? So maybe they told people that it had black mold, and then they like, but anyways, I think that's the story that they told people. I think they told people that it had black mold. I think that the raid happened at the lot, which they've not really told nobody, or like people in the Duggar land, like they've kept that really hush hush. Like nobody still to this day knows what that raid was about. They just know that Josh's property or his lot is now closed, and that Josh just doesn't really have a job anymore, and he just lives on the she shed with his wife. So basically they do the raid back in 2019, and then shortly after that, Josh dumps like all.
No, hello, Sweet Tea's Jenny. She is wearing a headband. Oh, we had black mold in the last house that we had. It was disgusting too. It was making us sick, actually. We were really sick. We couldn't work out why until we found the mold behind a wardrobe. And then we found another house, and we had to then, we had to we had humidifiers and everything, trying to fix it all up.
All of his assets, and he sells his house, and he gets rid of like his car lot, and everything is gone. So it seems like, in a way, like they're trying to limit their financial stuff. You know what I mean? In the event that there's something that might happen. That's just my thought. That's, again, my speculation. That's my guess. Like, why else would you, after a raid, move back into mom and dad's house and get rid of all of your assets and all that kind of thing and, like, not have a job? Yeah, well, I guess to start over. I don't know. People around them can't even explain why Josh and Anna are still there. I think it's weird. This is the best life ever. Will this be streamable later? I don't know. Should I like download this and put this on YouTube? It will be so confusing. He doesn't have to start over. Free Anna. I know, free Anna. I don't know. Long story short, what do I think of Josh? Is that even really a question? Okay. I'm here tonight. I'm confused about the Caldwell's living arrangement, right? Like, how is it possible? Maybe I will download this and put it on YouTube, and you guys can just like sort through it. Although my YouTuber people will be like, you guys, they'll get so mad at me.
See you. Thank you for joining this short order, Cook. I know once this is finished, I'm heading off. It's good head of the household. Majority of the time he's male, but in this day and age, it can be whoever makes more money. So I guess she's the head of her household. Yep, she's probably the head of the household.
So much Duggar tea. Okay. Anyways, Paul Caldwell and Jim Bob don't get along, apparently. There was a fight at the church over the nursery and some other things. Joe and Joe's dad didn't talk to each other for a while. Josh is freeloading off the family. And Joe is dating Jed's leftovers. and Jed is arranged to be married. Jan is dating.
Hang on. Did you just say, hang on. Joe married Kendra? I mean, Joe married, yeah. Well, let's have a look.
This is the best life ever.
Oh, I don't want it that far.
I don't know much about Ginger.
Oh.
Honestly. Okay. You're so I'm here tonight. I'm confused about the Caldwell's living arrangement, right? Like, how is it possible? Maybe I will download this and put it on YouTube and you guys can just like sort through it. Although the YouTuber people will be like, you guys.
Thank you, Kimmy Lee. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. I know. Yes, Laura, she's still talking.
So they only see Jeremy's only around if there's like a wedding. Otherwise, he does not visit the Duggars. So he's only there like for special events. Otherwise, Ginger goes there alone. And it's just assumed that Jeremy and Jim Bob just do not get along. I'm starting to realize that a lot of people don't get along with Jim Bob Duggar. Jeremy's parents live in Pennsylvania. But I'm starting to think that them talking about California all the time is that they might be leaving California. And Duggar, a snarker on Duggar a snarker on Reddit made really good sense with this, is that they might be talking about California so much on their Reddits or on their Instagram stuff because right before they left Laredo, they did like a bunch of Laredo posts like this, and he is going to be done with his seminary stuff in May, I think. And I don't think they're going to stay in California because they're not, I believe they're staying at a house that's paid for by the school. So I think they're going to have to move out of California. Lauren Caldwell is 1,000% not dating any of the Duggars. That's what I was told. Specifically. That's like how this relationship all started with
watching floods and this, and you are so mad. I know we looked at the floods before. We also looked at what was happening in Myanmar because I have a bit of a connection in Myanmar and the atrocity that's happening over there, and then we've sat and watched this. Like, yeah, it's a bit makes yeah. It's really bizarre. We haven't got much more to go, fortunately. Oh, thank you for joining, Kimberly. I'll set a being in love if you want to make the other person happy. Thank you. Thank you for becoming a member. You're allowed to have your opinion, Fernando. You are entitled to have your opinion. Not all entitled to have a opinion. But yeah. So she's talked to somebody, and essentially what she's done is she's talked to somebody, and now she's coming around and running around telling everybody what the person said. I wonder whether she verified all the information.
The person reached out to me and said, like, Lauren Caldwell is not with a Duggar. Duggar snark. I can't decide. Duggar snark sometimes likes me, and most of the time they hate me. But they think I'm lying, and they think I take things from their threads. But if I find something on there, I don't really go on there very frequently. Sometimes I check if I don't have time to check on all of the different people, because they do a really good job of like posting literally every single person on the Duggars, and I can just look there all in one swoop. Like I can see like their Instagrams and stuff, but they think that I take their like scoops from them, and that's just not true. I literally have people I talk to. Yes, Amy King's NDA is for life. Yeah, they literally hate me. They think I make everything up and I use their subreddit for everything. But I noticed they're starting to take me a little bit more seriously now. So I promise you, Reddit, I'm not making this stuff up. I literally have people that like are connected to all of these people. I have too much on the hand, and I like literally just got through a lawsuit. Like, you don't, in this line of work, like when you're an independent blogger, there's too much on the line to like make shit up.
She just got through a lawsuit, hey? She just got through a lawsuit. It's only the beginning.
I can't show you guys proof of a source, but I showed you guys the invitation, and he really is getting married. It was true. Like that came from that source. So I don't know how much more proof you need. Like, these people are connected to them. You never like would tell a magazine to show you their proof. You don't out a source. You keep people's privacy because they don't want to be outed.
But you said it was a she.
But they don't want to be identified because
you said it was a her. You said she. You've outed your source, KJ.
that puts them. How do I vet my sources? I mean, I have to verify that they actually know them. I have to verify through a variety of different methods. But yeah, like in this specific case, I have documented pictures of them with them, and they follow them and they follow them back. And they've been around them for years. I guess Jessa's house is like really in a bad spot too. It's like right by the freeway, and it's like so small. It's like in a really, like, Ben has a job now, sort of, but I guess he doesn't make very much money. I can't tell you guys why Amy is in this NDA. Like, I can't say anything. All I can say is there's a People article. So here's the Amy stuff. How do the Duggars not find out who the source is? Because do you know how many friends the Duggars have? There's a lot. They have a lot of fundamentalist friends that are around them constantly. Constantly, because of their church. So they have so many close friends. They have so many friends. Anyways, who asked the question? Oh, the NDA. There is a People article from when, think of it this way. I do give Duggar Snark credit whenever they take stuff, whenever I see stuff on there. The problem is they think that I see the same things that they do. So we all see the same things. We're all looking on the same Instagrams. I also know how to sleuth. So they'll be like, well, we sleuth this. And I'm like, well, I check the same stuff you do. It's not like that. It's not rocket science to like sleuth.
It's not the size of its happy little home with who you love. KJ is materialistic with it. So apparently there's a trick to sleuthing now, hey?
Okay. So, anyways, anyways, the NDA comes from after Josh Duggar was outed for the assault of the girls and the Ashley Madison stuff. There's an article from People. You can go read it, or it's on In Touch. She wrote a blog about it. But she wrote a blog, and she found out with the world about what Josh did to his sisters. And she also found out with the world what he was doing on Ashley Madison and how he was cheating on women. So, if she found out with the world, that means her uncle and her aunt did not tell her mother that her nephew had assaulted her nieces, and Dina allowed Amy to be on the show not knowing that Josh had assaulted his sisters. And no, Amy was not a victim. Amy was not a victim. She was not the babysitter. She was never a victim of Josh. So she told People she found out with everyone else. How do you get out of a contract? Or, like, she was on the show, she wasn't being paid, but she still has a contract with the network. Lauren is just shy and awkward in general. She was never, and she was not. It's both the same. She was not a victim of Josh, and she was never a victim of Josh. It's literally the same thing. Amy was not assaulted by Josh, ever. Amy would beat him up, for sure. They did put Amy in danger. They had to sign NDAs to get out of their stuff at TLC. They had to. They were not going to film anymore after what happened. After Jim lied to them, they were done.
No, this was on Instagram Wind Whispers, so there was no chat. There was a chat, but the chats don't save on Instagram, so you can't see the chat.
Amy is older than Josh. Like by 2 years, I think. I don't know anything about Amy, and no, the kids are not paid at all. It does make sense. If you know anything about TLC, it 1,000,000,000% makes sense. And then Jim Bob is his own business, and so anytime someone has a business and it's a family business, if you are part of that family business, that owner of the family business can say, you can't talk about me or I'll sue you. No, the minors, nobody's being paid. The kids are not being paid. No one gets money. You guys, my IG is going to stop now. I'm at the limit. It's telling me that it's going to end, so I got to go. Hello, everyone.
So there you go. That's it. How exciting. I think she put it in a headband, gingerly. So that's now on YouTube for all her members to see. So what did you reckon? Yeah, it's all right. She's just finished, so. All right, see you, Fernando. And just she's laughing tomorrow, being mad the next day. Jess and Ben were given a small house, which was Josh and Ashton. Jill and Derek got a huge home. It's significant, and there were lots of speculation about what Jess did to deserve the little house. Interesting. Oh, it meant her Instagram, Selena, she said that her Instagram was going to end now. So that meant that, yeah, there's a limit on how much it can do. Yeah, no, that's fine. See you, Fernando. Thank you for being with us all tonight. So on that note, I'm going to end it there. So I hope you have a good Sunday for all of you in the US and UK and everywhere else in the world. For the Aussies, I hope you have a good night's sleep. And I'll be back tomorrow night for some more. Hopefully we've got some more updates on the other cases as well. So thank you all for joining me. So good. Thank you to all of those. Welcome to all of our new members. Oh, Selena, thank you. Can I say thank you for the hologram purse? Yeah. So it arrived all right then, Selena? Cool. I do like mine. I've got to order myself one of the bags as well, so got to get one for myself. All right. All right, so I'll catch you all later. I'll just I'm going to sign off, but I'll leave the chat open for a few more minutes so you can say goodbye to each other.